Hello, welcome to CGTN. Live from Beijing, I'm Pan Dong. The Communist Party of China Central Committee is holding a press conference to introduce and interpret a key report to the 20th CPC National Congress. Now let's cross live to the scene.
Ladies and gentlemen, comrades, friends from the press, good morning. The 20th National Congress of the CPC was successfully concluded. Today, we have invited the responsible leading officials to brief you on the issues related to the 20th National Congress of the CPC. We have with us Mr. Chen Yixing, Secretary General of the Commission for Political and Legal Affairs of the CPC Central Committee, Mr. Jiang Jingquan from the General Office of the CPC Central Committee, Mr. Mu Hong from the Central Commission for Comprehensively Deepening Reform, and Mr. Wang Jianxin, Director of the Publicity Department of the Central Commission for Discipline Inspection of the CPC, and Mr. Sun Yeli, Vice Minister from the Publicity Department of CPC Central Committee.
Friends from the press, I'll mainly brief you on the following two aspects. First, the basics of the report to the 20th CPC National Congress. The Congress is a meeting of great importance, held at a critical time as the entire party and the Chinese people of all ethnic groups are embarking on a new journey to build China into a modern socialist country in all respects, and to realize the second centenary goal. The report adopted at the Congress expounded on a host of major theoretical practical issues and summarized the work of the past 5 years and great changes in the first decade of the new era. It identified the theme of the Congress, elaborates on the new frontier in adapting Marxism to the Chinese context and the needs of the times, and sets out the CPC's missions and tasks in the new journey of the new era. It also sets out China's overall objectives for the next 5 years. It is a political declaration and a program of action for the CPC to unite and lead the Chinese people of all ethnic groups to strive for the victory of socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era. It is a guideline of Marxism. It demonstrates the full implementation of intra-party democracy and the whole process people's democracy, and encapsulates the wisdom of the whole party and people of all ethnic groups. Opinions were sought extensively from more than 4,700 people, and also from online from the public. Online opinions was over 80,000 items. The report epitomizes the practical experience and theoretical innovations of the party and people in the new era, the wisdom of the whole party and society, and meets the expectations of the people. It will surely have a significant, far-reaching impact on the party to unite and lead the people in building a socialist modern China and promoting the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, and will help the international community to better understand the party's philosophy, approach, and capacity of governance. Next, I would like to share with you my observations of the great changes in the first decade of the new era. The first section of the report touches lightly on the work of the past 5 years since the 19th Party Congress, and heavily on the great changes in the first decade of the new era. The past decade has been a decade in which China's development has taken a new and great step forward, and the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation has been accelerated. In the past decade, the party united and led all people and adopted a number of strategic measures, developed a range of transformative practices, and made a series of breakthroughs and landmark advances. We have withstood risks and challenges in the political, economic, ideological, and natural domains, secured historic achievements, and seen historic changes in the cause of the party and the country, and taken China on a new journey toward building a modern socialist country in all respects. The great changes of the first decade in the new era have been all-dimensional, fundamental, and paradigm-shifting, which could be seen in the aspects of reform, development, and stability, domestic and foreign affairs and national defense, and the governance of the party, the country, and the military. The report summarizes the great changes of the past decade in 16 aspects and comprehensively demonstrates the magnificent journey of the great changes of the new era. As far as I'm concerned, there are 6 aspects of great significance. First, the major political outcome of the 2 establishments is achieved. It is a major political judgment made by the party since the 18th CPC Congress. It is the most important political achievement in the first decade of the new era and a fundamental reason for the great changes. It plays a decisive role in advancing the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation and the development of the party and the country. Second, the CPC has tempered itself through revolution and grown stronger. After 10 years of full and rigorous party self-governance, we have addressed the problem of lax and weak self-governance in party organizations at the root and removed serious hidden dangers in the party, the country, and the military. The party has maintained a closer bond with the people and has made profound improvements. It is of major and far-reaching significance to ensure that the party will never change its nature, its conviction, or its character, and ensure that the party remains the strong leadership of socialism with Chinese characteristics. Third, the goal of building a moderately prosperous society in all respects is met. In the past decade, we implemented the new development philosophy, pursued high-quality development, deepened supply-side structural reform, and sped up the building of a new pattern of development. We won the battle against poverty, which historically resolved the problem of absolute poverty, and completed the building of a moderately prosperous society in all respects on schedule, which ushered in a new era of comprehensive economic and social progress that has never been seen in the history of the Chinese nation and has benefited the entire population. It has laid a more solid material foundation for the achievement of the second centenary goal and the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. Fourth, the ability to safeguard national security is strengthened. In the past decade, we implemented a holistic approach to national security, ensured both development and security, and improved the national security system. We have not yielded any ground on matters of principle and effectively handled the provocative and disruptive attempts of the hostile forces on Taiwan, Hong Kong, Tibet, Xinjiang, and the South China Sea. We have defended the national sovereignty, security, and development interests with firm determination and comprehensively strengthened national security. Fifth, China's international standing is significantly advanced. In the past decade, we fully advanced major country diplomacy with Chinese characteristics, promoted the building of a community with a shared future for mankind, firmly upheld international fairness and justice, and advocated true multilateralism. We opposed hegemonism and power politics, unswervingly opposed unilateralism, protectionism, and bullying practices, and taken an active part in the reform and building of the global governance system. China's international influence, appeal, and power to shape have risen markedly. Sixth, China's institutional strengths are more significant. In the past decade, we have comprehensively deepened reform with enormous political courage and removed institutional obstacles in all areas. This has enabled us to put in place fundamental institutional frameworks and to achieve historic, systemic, and holistic transformations in many fields. The system of socialism with Chinese characteristics has become more mature and well-defined, and China's system capacity for governance have been further modernized, providing a more complete institutional guarantee for the long-term stability of the party and the country, and for the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. The great changes cannot be made without the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core and the united and relentless efforts of the whole party, military, and people. They have come from the collective dedication and hard work of our party and our people. They will be remembered as a glorious chapter in the history. Thank you very much. Next, I'll give the floor to Mr. Sun Yeli.
Friends from press, good morning. The report to the party's 20th National Congress is a political manifesto. It features great vision, rich contents, and a profound system. It crystallizes the party's innovations in theories and practices since the party's 18th National Congress. It also provides us with the scientific guidance in further making innovations in theories and practices. I would like to focus on the chapter of a new frontier in adapting Marxism to the Chinese context and the needs of the times in the report. The second chapter of the report is dedicated to Marxism. Marxism is our fundamental guidance in running the country, but we are not confined to the lines in Marxism, but rather we've been adapting Marxism to the Chinese context. Since the 18th Party Congress, Chinese communists, represented by Comrade Xi Jinping, profoundly grasped the new developments in domestic and international situations in searching for theoretical and practical solutions to the key issues related to the development of the party and the country. And these are crystallized in the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics. This represents the quintessence of Marxism in China, Marxism in the 21st century, and the fine Chinese traditional culture. At the 19th National Congress of the Party and the 6th plenary session of the 19th Central Committee, the main contents of the thought was summarized, and we need to keep to it and bring it to new height. And this report further expounds on what we have learned in upholding and developing Marxism. Specifically, we need to focus on two integrations. That is, the integration of Marxism with the Chinese context and with the fine traditional Chinese culture. I shall say a few more words about the two integrations. First, integrate Marxism with China's specific realities. Our party has all along stressed and upheld this. This is a most valuable experience in the party's history during the past century, and it has led us from success to success. During the new democratic revolution, we have explored the path of Chinese revolution based on China's realities, namely the countryside encircling the cities. After the founding of the new China, we have explored the new path of socialist development in keeping with China's realities. Back in 1950s, Comrade Mao Zedong wrote an essay entitled On 10 Relationships. And after the reform and development, we developed a whole system of theories of socialism with Chinese characteristics. All these are examples of combining the basic tenets of Marxism with the changing realities in China. During the history of our party, there were cases of deviation from China's realities, rigidly memorizing lines of classics or copying foreign experiences, and that has caused major setbacks in the development of the country. That is why, in the report, General Secretary Xi Jinping stressed that we should not take Marxism as a rigid dogma, but instead we need to free our minds, seek truth from facts, move with times, and take a realistic and pragmatic approach. Secondly, we need to integrate Marxism with China's fine traditional culture. At the assembly celebrating the centenary of the party, General Secretary Xi has already put forward this important view, and the report this time further expounded on this. This is another major innovation in terms of theory by our party. As a matter of fact, our system, our path, and the lines and principles of the party embody the fine traditional Chinese culture, but in terms of theory, this hasn't been specified before. This is the first time that General Secretary Xi has set out this integration. It summarizes our history and it reflects the laws of development of our course, and it provides the guidance for our theoretical development in the years ahead. It also represents a new height in the thinking of Chinese communists as well as our cultural confidence. It has therefore deep and profound basis. When Marxism was introduced into China, why it was able to be chosen by the Chinese people? This is no coincidence. A key reason is that the scientific socialism is highly compatible with the fine traditional Chinese culture. In adapting Marxism with Chinese context and the needs of our times, we are able to revitalize the time-honored Chinese civilization with the power of Marxism. At the same time, China's fine traditional culture has also enriched Marxism. That is why we say the adapted Marxism to the Chinese context reflects China's vision and Chinese character, and this second integration will enable us to more closely combine our party's theories with the over 5,000 years of history of the Chinese civilization. It will also help us to realize that this Marxism will take deep root in the heart of the people. This report also expounds on the 6 upholds, namely upholding people-centeredness, self-confidence and standing on our own feet, upholding fundamental principles and breaking new ground, upholding people-oriented approach, applying systems thinking and adopting a global vision. And all of these reflect the characteristics and features of the scientific thought. And it also reflects General Secretary Xi Jinping's deep love for the people and CPC's courage to break new ground in theories, and our commitment to a global vision. And in learning the report, we need to keep to these basic points. This is my opening remarks. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sun Yeli. Next, Mr. Mu Hong, you have the floor.
Friends from the press, good morning. I would like to brief you on the strategic planning on advancing high-quality development in the report. The report pointed out that to build a modern socialist country in all respects, we must first and foremost pursue high-quality development. Development is the party's top priority in governing and rejuvenating China. Pursuing high-quality development as our overarching task will make sure that our implementation of the strategy to expand domestic demand is integrated with our efforts to deepen supply-side structural reform. Will boost the dynamism and reliability of the domestic economy while engaging at a higher level in the global economy and move faster to build a modernized economy. Will raise total factor productivity, make China's industrial supply chains more resilient and secure, and promote integrated urban-rural development and coordinated regional development so as to effectively upgrade and appropriately expand China's economic output. To study the spirit of the report, we must understand why high-quality development is the first and foremost task for building a modern socialist country, and why is it a defining feature of the Chinese modernization. Since the reform opening up, development has been viewed as the basis and key to addressing all issues. From development is of paramount importance to development, and to it is the party's top priority to govern and rejuvenate China. From the scientific outlook on development to the new development philosophy, the party's understanding of development has been advancing with the trend of the times and further progressing with new and enriched substances. In the new era, as we have identified, the principal contradiction facing Chinese society is the one between unbalanced and inadequate development and the people's ever-growing needs for a better life. The quality of development has been put under the spotlight for embodying most of the problems in development. To build a modern socialist country in all respects, we must uphold a people-centered development approach, shift development pattern, turn to innovation-driven, and promote reform in quality, efficiency, and driving force, so as to improve the quality and level of development. The CPC Central Committee noted that applying the new development philosophy and advancing high-quality development is a profound reform affecting the overall picture of modernization. The GDP growth rate could not serve as the sole yardstick of success for development. Rather, it was imperative to achieve high-quality development in which innovation is the primary driver, coordination is an indigenous trait, eco-friendly growth prevails, openness to the world is the only way, and shared growth is the ultimate goal. That is why the report this time has put development quality in a more prominent position, and the requirement for high-quality development could be seen in economic, social, cultural, environment, and all other aspects. Since the party's 18th National Congress, the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core has made a host of major judgments and strategic plans. The fifth plenum of the 18th CPC Central Committee put forward a new philosophy of innovative, coordinated, green, open, and shared development. The 19th CPC National Congress pointed out that China's economy has been transitioning from a phase of rapid growth to a stage of high-quality development. And the fifth plenum of the 19th CPC Central Committee noted to foster a new pattern of development in which domestic circulation as the mainstay and domestic and international circulations reinforce each other. In the past decade, China's economic, technological, and overall national strength have reached new heights. China's position as the world's second-largest economy has been further consolidated. The per capita GDP increased to 81,000 yuan. The ratio of social investment in R&D to GDP increased from 1.91% in 2012 to 2.44% in 2021. The ranking in Global Innovation Index rose from the 34th to the 11th. The urbanization rate rose from 53.1% to 64.7%. The gap between urban and rural residents' per capita disposable income fell from 2.88 to 1 to 2.5 to 1. The life expectancy increased to 78.2 years. The middle income group gradually expanded, and nearly 100 million rural population have been lifted out of poverty. China has built the world's largest education system, social security system, healthcare system. Ecological and environment protection have also undergone historic, transformative, and overall changes. Risks of all forms have been diffused. China's development quality has been gradually improved. The report to the party's 20th National Congress puts high-quality development as the first and foremost task for building a modern socialist country, which further testifies to the overarching and long-term significance of development quality. The report has also set out the following strategic plans for advancing high-quality development. First, accelerate the building of a new pattern of development. We will uphold the strategic base point of expanding domestic demand, deepen supply-side structural reform, accelerate the building of a unified national market, and facilitate the full flow of various production factors. We'll modernize the industrial system, enhance the resilience and security level of the industrial supply chains, deeply involved in global industrial distribution and cooperation, and foster a new pattern of development with domestic and international circulations reinforcing each other. Second, stay committed to the strategy of innovation-driven development. We'll improve the new system for mobilizing resources nationwide to boost China's strength in strategic science and technology and achieve breakthroughs in core technologies in key fields. We'll promote economic and social development with greater technological self-reliance and strength, and leverage the role of innovation to improve the quality and efficiency of the real economy. We'll also improve the innovation system involving multiple actors across various levels. Third, build a high-standard socialist market economy. We'll stick to the reform direction of the socialist market economy, unswervingly consolidate and develop the public sector, and unswervingly encourage, support, and guide the development of the non-public sector. We'll work to see that the market plays the decisive role in resource allocation, and that the government better plays its role and inspire and protect the enthusiasm and creativity of all parties in promoting socialist modernization. Fourth, advance rural revitalization across the board. We'll pursue integrated development of urban and rural areas and facilitate the flows of production factors between them. We'll steadily promote the revitalization of businesses, talent, culture, ecosystems, and organizations in the countryside, and the modernization of agriculture and rural areas. Fifth, promote coordinated regional development. Will implement major regional strategies and complement the strength of the developed and less developed regions, the East, Central, West, and Northeast regions for shared development, so as to pursue solid progress toward common prosperity. Sixth, promote high-standard opening up. We'll leverage the strength of China's enormous market, attract global resources and factors, promote high-quality Belt and Road cooperation, for better quality and higher level of international circulation. We'll steadily expand institutional opening up and establish an open economy that is diverse, balanced, secure, and efficient, and brings benefit to all. On high-quality development, important plans have been made at the party's 20th National Congress. We must gain a full understanding of the report and act on the requirements for high-quality development in our work on all fronts. Amidst the current complex situation, some people in China and abroad have expressed their concerns on China's future development, and I think the targeted and future-oriented strategic measures in the report this year will help to remove doubts and reinforce their confidence. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, I'll invite Mr. Chen Yixin.
Dear friends from the press, good morning. Let me talk about exercising law-based governance on all fronts and advancing the rule of law in China. The report, the 20th CPC National Congress, has for the first time made plans for the rule of law as a major section at a Congress of Party delegates. This fully shows that the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, attaches great importance to exercising law-based governance on all fronts. Politically, this further demonstrates that our party is fully determined to promoting the rule of law. It shows that our party is not only a party with the courage for revolution and reform and wisdom for development, but also a party convicted in, committed to, and acts to build the rule of law. It is a political manifesto of our party in upholding law-based governance on all fronts. From a theoretical point of view, it further enriches and develops Xi Jinping's thought on the rule of law, deepens the understanding of the laws of the CPC's law-based governance, the laws of developing socialist rule of law, and those of the human culture for the rule of law. It is a programmatic document for our party to establish China as a country under the rule of law. In terms of the practice, it further expands the plan of action of our party and country in a new era. It shows that exercising law-based governance on all fronts is taking an increasingly important position. It is a key method of our party in state governance. As to the role, overall requirement, and key tasks of building the rule of law, the report has also laid out a general plan. There are 5 parts to it. First is to stick to the general guideline, which is the overall requirements for building the rule of law in the new era. The report clearly states the role in the general plan of work of exercising law-based governance on all fronts and sets out the overall requirements for this field of work. This is the very foundation for our endeavor. We must stay guided by the Xi Jinping thought on the rule of law, take as our overarching goal to develop a Chinese system of socialist rule of law and establish China as a socialist country under the rule of law, stick to the unity of the party's leadership, running of the country by the people, and law-based governance, and stay unswervingly on the path of socialist rule of law with Chinese characteristics to make steady and sustained progress in advancing the rule of law in China in the new era. Second, it lays out the standards for the rule of law, which is to improve the socialist legal system with Chinese characteristics, with the Constitution at its core. The law is the foremost standard and rule for state governance. Building a Chinese system of socialist rule of law, we must give top priority to legislation so that it can play its leading role. We should strengthen our legislation in the key emerging and foreign-related areas, make laws in a well-conceived, democratic way in accordance with the law, to make the legislative system more systematic, holistic, and coordinated and responsive, so that our good legislation can promote development and good governance. Third, it asks us to stay focused on the key tasks, which is to promote law-based government administration. Building a law-based government is a key task, a major part of comprehensively advancing law-based governance. Only when the government takes the lead in discharging its duties and handling affairs in accordance with the law can the country run on the tracks of the rule of law. We must deepen the reform of administrative law enforcement, promote strict procedure-based, impartial and civil law enforcement, enhance oversight mechanisms and capacity, and comprehensively enhance the rule of law across the government so that we can produce a great result. And fourth, we need to focus on the critical part of building the rule of law, which is strict and impartial administration of justice. An impartial judiciary is the last line of defense for social fairness and justice. We should deepen the comprehensive and integrated reform of the judicial system, fully and faithfully enforce judicial accountability, ensure well-regulated exercise of judicial powers, and improve the systems and mechanisms overseeing judicial activities. We should build an impartial, highly effective and authoritative socialist judicial system so that the people can feel that justice is served in every case. Fifth, the report asks us to strengthen the foundation for the rule of law, which is to establish the rule of law throughout society. A society based on the rule of law is the foundation on which we can build a country under the rule of law. We need to make sure that the entire population truly revere, readily observe the rule of law. This is a long-term foundational project. We need to champion the socialist rule of law spirit, carry forward the fine legal culture of the Chinese nation, carry out awareness campaigns, encourage leading officials to play their exemplary role, and promote the in-depth understanding of the CGTN thought on the rule of law so that the whole society respects, learns, observes, and applies the law. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chen. Now, please, Mr. Tang.
Friends from the press, good morning. I shall focus on the party building as expounded in the report. To build a socialist modern country in all respects and achieve great national rejuvenation, the party plays a pivotal role. Full and vigorous self-governance of the party is critically important. The CPC is the mainstay in leading us building socialism with Chinese characteristics. It is the most reliable force for the whole nation, and the party leadership is the biggest advantage of the socialist system with Chinese characteristics. To accomplish the tasks and missions of the party in the new era, we must categorically uphold and strengthen the party's full leadership, advance the party building in the new era. The report to the 20th Party Congress has summarized why we have succeeded, analyzed the situations we now face, identified the main tasks and goals, as well as policy measures. It fully demonstrates this overall requirement. In the report, there is a dedicated chapter entitled Exercising Full and Rigorous Self-Governance and Advancing the Great New Project of the Party Building in the New Era. It stresses that we need to uphold and strengthen centralized and unified leadership of the Party Central Committee, continue to enhance cohesion and forge the party's soul with the thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era, continue to improve the party's systems and regulations for its self-reform, continue to cultivate officials capable of shouldering the mission of national rejuvenation, continue to enhance the party's political and organizational functions, and continue to take strict steps to improve the party conduct and enforce party discipline, and win the tough and protracted battle against corruption. I believe there are 4 important highlights. The first one is self-reform of the party. Self-reform is a defining character of the party. It is how the party will avoid the historical rise and fall cycle. The report epitomizes the party's courage to conduct self-reform, take on issues and challenges head-on. It stresses that party self-reform is an ongoing process. It also sets out tasks and measures for the party to purify, improve, reform, and improve itself. The second highlight is about strengthening the whole system for strict self-governance of the party. Full and rigorous self-governance has been the defining theme since the party's 18th National Congress. The core is strengthening the party's leadership. The essence is about full and rigorous self-governance. The report this time has put forward the overall requirements for the party building in the new era, and we will act on them to advance the party's self-governance in the new era. The third highlight is about the party's political building. As stressed in the report, strengthening the unified and centralized leadership of the Party Central Committee is the most fundamental principle. It highlights the critical importance of continued strengthening of the party building on our way forward. And fourth highlight is about strengthening party's self-governance in terms of thinking and the system. The report has underscored the importance of strengthening party members' ideals and convictions. The party's self-governance is to be improved by updating systems, strengthening regulations, and the purpose is to let the party members be guided by the overall thinking and general systems and regulations of the party building. The 20th National Congress report has put together views and propositions of various sectors. The party constitution has been approved to undergo certain amendments, and revise the party's constitution fully represents the latest outcomes of adapting Marxism to the Chinese context and the needs of times. It fully shows the new thoughts, new ideas, and new strategies of the Central Party Committee since the 19th Party Congress. Therefore, I believe the paragraphs and articulation of the report about the party building shall be combined with the party constitution when we take a closer look at the words and expressions.
Good morning. Let me share my understanding about the report on exercising full and rigorous party self-governance, maintain a rigorous approach to improve party conduct. The report demonstrates the political principle of sticking to the party's centralized unified leadership, enhancing party awareness, and carry out the party's transformation to steer social transformation. At the 15th part of the report, it states that our party has a pivotal role in building China into a modern socialist country in all respects and advancing rejuvenation of the Chinese nation on all fronts. A 100-year-old party, as the largest Marxist governing party in the world, we must always stay alert and determined to tackle the special challenges that a large party like ours face. We must maintain our solidarity and unity, our advanced nature and purity, and always be a rock-solid piece of steel. The report demands that all of us in the party must bear in mind that full and vigorous self-governance is an unceasing endeavor, and self-reform is a journey to which there is no end. We must never slacken our efforts, maintain a rigorous approach, and always sound the bugle in fighting corruption. First of all, we should strengthen political oversight by upholding the centralized unified leadership of the party. The party's leadership is a defining feature of socialism with Chinese characteristics, and upholding the party's centralized unified leadership is the foremost political principle. The report stresses that the party's leadership is comprehensive, systematic, and integrated and must be implemented in a comprehensive, systematic and integrated way. Therefore, we must stick to and strengthen the party's centralized unified leadership and make it as our top political task, and to make political oversight concrete, targeted and regular, to ensure that the whole party acquire a deeper understanding of the decisive significance of the two establishes, stick to the two upholds, and ensure the whole party is highly aligned with the CPC Central Committee in terms of political stance, orientation, principles, and path. We should have a firm grasp of the missions and tasks of the party in the new era and on this new journey, and make sure that the important thoughts, views, and strategies and measures proposed at the 20th National Congress are effectively implemented. Second, we should boost the party's ability to purify itself and also the system for its self-reform. The party has laid out the strategic thoughts for self-reform of the party and strengthens the institutional support. We must stay committed to institutional rules-based governance of the party, improve the intra-party system of laws and regulations, and enhance their authority and execution, and form a mechanism that can uphold truth, correct errors, uncover problems, and remedy failings. We should stress the system under the leadership of the party, which has total coverage, authoritative, and highly effective. Refine the system for oversight of powers and keep it in check. Focus on intra-party oversight and promote coordination of various sorts of oversight so that power is exercised in broad daylight. Third, we must stay committed to the principle of rigorous self-governance to improve party conduct. In this new era, the rigorous self-governance is started with introduction and implementation of the 8-point decision on improving party conduct. In the past 10 years, we have handled 761,000 cases of violation of this decision, punishing 683,000 officials violating these rules. In the report, it is said that good conduct is critical to the survival of a governing party. We must tighten the bonds between the party and the masses. Party officials should conduct in-depth research and studies to immerse themselves in hard work, take concrete measures, and deliver solid outcomes. We must steadfastly implement the Central Party's leadership's 8-point decision on improving conduct, tackle the 4 malfeasances, especially formalities and bureaucratism, make all-round efforts to establish party discipline. Party officials should be strict about themselves, fulfill their responsibilities, and exercise strict management within their jurisdictions. Each fraction of party discipline must be strictly investigated and handled without mercy. And fourth, we must win the battle, the tough and protracted battle against corruption. Corruption is the biggest cancer. Fighting corruption is the most thorough kind of self-reform. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, General Secretary Xi Jinping has led the whole party in carrying out an unprecedented campaign against corruption. These 10 years, we have realized the reshaping of the leadership system, organizational structure, workforce, responsibility system, and the enforcement system of disciplines and laws on countering corruption. We have achieved an overwhelming victory and consolidated the success. The report says that as long as the breeding grounds and conditions for corruption still exist, we must keep sounding the bugle and never rest. We must maintain high pressure, take steps to ensure that officials not have the audacity, opportunity, and desire to become corrupt, prevent leading officials from acting for any interest group or power group, take firm action to swat flies or low-ranking corrupt officials whose misconduct directly affect people's lives, and strengthen regulation over the exercise of power to prevent the spread of corruption and secure more institutional achievements and greater efficiency in fighting corruption. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wang. Now the floor is open for questions. Please raise your questions and also identify your media agency.
好，请中区第2排这位女记者。
I'm with People's Daily. Why are the changes in the past 10 years called Great Transformation? What is the way to understand the significance of the Great Transformation?
这个问题请江金泉同志回答。
Mr. Jiang, please.
感谢记者的问题。
Thank you for your question.
前面呢，我刚才已经讲过。
Earlier, I said in my opening remarks that the great transformation in the 10 years of the new era are all-dimensional, foundational, and structural. Their significance is far-reaching and historic. Therefore, they are called great transformations. In the past 10 years, we have faced a host of challenges and risks, problems, and difficulties. A heavy task of charting the right course, coping with disturbances and hostile movements, tackling difficult challenges and removing stubborn problems. The immensity of the job is rare in history and the world, and the transformations have not come by easily. These are my understanding about this. First of all, the great transformations are achieved in solving the prominent problems within the party. In the past 10 years, the CPC Central Committee has been committed to strengthening the overall leadership of the party, promoting full and rigorous self-governance, and tackling the weakening, obscuring, and diluting of party's leadership. We have made consistent efforts to tackle the formal malfeasances, tackle corruption, and thereby removing the political pitfalls in the party that threaten the existence of the party. The party's leadership has become more robust. Political ecosystem in the party is renewed, providing the fundamental political guarantee for realizing the great transformation. Second, these transformations are achieved in addressing the outstanding issues in socio-economic development in the face of the problems built up over a long period of time and new changes in domestic and international situations, including the economic and technological decoupling initiated by some Western countries. The CPC Central Committee and General Secretary Xi Jinping has put forward a host of new thoughts, ideas, and measures, especially the new development philosophy and the creation of a new development pattern. We have effectively coped with the triple pressure of shrinking demand, supply shocks, and weakening expectation, and laid a good foundation for China's sustained and steady development and security. Third, these transformations are realized in tackling external risks and challenges. In the past 10 years, we have faced drastic changes in international situations, external blackmailing, containment, blockade, and maximum pressure. The CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, has led the whole country in maintaining our strategic posture, championing a fighting spirit. We are not swayed by fallacies, and we are not deterred or intimidated or cowed by pressure. We have met difficulties head-on, effectively safeguarded national dignity and core interests, and taken our development security in our own hands. So these great transformations did not come easily. They are achieved in fighting off various risks and challenges, and even in stormy weathers. It is the collective dedication and determined fight of the whole party, country, and nation. The great transformations produce milestone significance, according to the report. I believe we can understand this from 5 aspects. First of all, they led to a strong leadership of call for the rejuvenation of the nation. We have achieved the most important political outcome of the 2 establishers and found self-reform as the second answer to the question of how to escape the historical cycle of rise and fall. The party is stronger, more robust, more unified, and has greater solidarity. It is also more vibrant and dynamic. Second, the Chinese nation has entered an irreversible historical trend of rejuvenation. We have completed building of a moderately prosperous society in all respects on time and won the battle against poverty, embarking on a new journey of building a modern socialist country in all respects, laying down the institutional guarantee and material foundation for the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, and encouraging people to be more proactive in their mindset. Third, the Chinese people are more confident and self-reliant. The historic achievements and transformations have greatly boosted the 4 confidences of the Chinese people. They are more motivated to march ahead. They are more invigorated and more determined to succeed. They are increasingly taking the initiative in their endeavors. The Chinese people are now showing greater confidence, seeing themselves as equals as anyone in the world. They are braver and more self-insured in writing a new splendid chapter in history. Fourth, we have injected great positive energy for world peace and development. Over the past 10 years, China has been contributing to global growth at an average rate of 30%. We have contributed to 70% of the global reduction of poverty. The vision of building a community with a shared future for mankind has won widespread acclaim. Public goods such as the Belt and Road Initiative has provided strong impetus for global development. Chinese modernization has created a new form of human civilization, and all of this has produced a great impact on the global development landscape. And fifth, we have demonstrated the great vitality of Marxism. Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics is part of Marxism of contemporary China and of 21st century. The great transformations over the past 10 years have fully shown the correctness and the timelessness of this great theory. It strengthens our confidence as a party and a nation to stick to socialism with Chinese characteristics, and strengthens the peoples around the country in China's way of development, in China's system and path of development. Thank you.
东区第2排左侧这位记者。
I'm with Asahi Shimbun. The report says there will be Chinese modernization, and we believe it's a key word in China's future direction. What is its core significance? It also said Chinese modernization provides a new option for the modernization of human community. Does it mean China will export its development models?
这个问题，请孙业礼先生回答。
I'll invite Mr. Sun Yeli to take your question. Thank you very much. Your question is about the term Chinese modernization. I believe you must have read the report thoroughly and in great depth. Modernization is the shared pursuit of people of all countries. Given the differences in the modernization path of various countries, none should be regarded as the only choice, nor should there be a one-size-fits-all standard or model for modernization. China's modernization has the common feature of the one in other countries, but at the same time enjoys its own characteristics. That's why we call it the Chinese modernization. The report this year systemically elaborated on the 5 distinctive features of the Chinese modernization. First, it is the modernization of a huge population. China has a population of over 1.4 billion and limited conditions on resources and environment. This is China's national conditions, which determine that China cannot follow the development path of other countries, and that China must have its own way of advancing and achieving modernization. The modernization of such a huge population faces unprecedented complexities, and once achieved, will also enjoy unprecedented significance and influence. Modernization of such a scale will be a huge contribution to the human society. It is a great responsibility. Second, it is the modernization of common prosperity for all. This is determined by the essence of socialism with Chinese characteristics. Polarized wealth distribution is not acceptable. We must help all people live a good life and let them all have the opportunity to enjoy modernization through their hard work and enjoy national development through their due contribution. No one or group should be left out. Of course, common prosperity is not egalitarianism, nor robbing rich to pay poor. It is a process of letting those who get rich first to help others catch up. Meanwhile, common prosperity is a long historical process which cannot be achieved overnight. We'll stay firmly to the goal, and since the 18th CPC National Congress, China's efforts to lift almost 100 million rural population out of poverty is a good case in point. Third, it is the modernization of material and cultural ethical advancement. One of the shortcomings of the other countries' modernization is the overexpansion of materialism. A solid material basis and the great abundance of material goods is, of course, an inalienable part of modernization. However, in the modern society, without a healthy spiritual pursuit and a rich life, people with material enjoyment alone will only become what the sociologists call one-dimension man. The rich and colorful human diversity will then degrade to a simple obsession of material wants. This is a tragedy for humanity. China does not favor such an option. We want both material abundance and cultural and ethical enrichment, or in other words, people's well-rounded development. Fourth, it is the modernization of harmony between humanity and nature. In the world history of modernization, we see a common problem of environment damage caused by industrialization and urbanization. China has made similar mistakes. However, after the party's 18th National Congress, China reversed the trend of pollution and brought historic, transformative, and overall changes to environment protection. General Secretary Xi Jinping's statement of "green is gold" enjoys broad public support and has been integrated into China's system, policies, and culture. China will continue to follow and uphold sustainable development. Fifth, it is the modernization of peaceful development. China will not tread the old path of war, colonization, and plunder taken by some countries. Will always hold the banners of peace, development, cooperation, and mutual benefit. This is decided by our system and culture. The path of peaceful development serves the fundamental interests of China. We'll continue to follow this path, and we hope other countries will also pursue peaceful development. As for the question of whether China intends to export this development model, I think China's position has been consistent and clear. That is, China does not intend to export its model to other countries. China firmly opposes any country of imposing its development model on China and never exports the Chinese model. Still less does China ask other countries to copy the Chinese practice. The efforts of each country to find its own modernization path in line with their own national conditions should be respected. China's position that Chinese modernization offers humanity a new choice for achieving modernization is a voice of support for diversity of human civilization and an attitude advocating exchanges and mutual learning among countries and civilizations. If the international community are willing to learn from China's experience, we'll share unreservedly and objectively. And at the same time, China is eager to learn and study the experience of other countries. Thank you. Next question, please.
请中区3排左侧这位记者。
好的，谢谢主持人。总台央视记者提问。
CCTV.
党的20大报告提出要实施科技兴国的
The
战略，
report noted
强化现代
to
化建设的人才
invigorate
支撑。
China
那
through
这
science and
在
education
内容
and
安
the
排上
workforce
对于以往的党代会报告有
workforce
所不同。
to support
他把教
development.
育、科技、人才放
This
在
is
了
a
同一
different
个
layout
互
compared
补
with the
之下，
previous
对此大
reports.
家都很关注。请问这样
And
的
for the
安排
first
体现了
time,
什么样的
the
战略？
content about
谢谢。
education, science, and talent are in single paragraphs.
这个问题，请
What strategic intention is behind such a layout? Thank you.
谢谢您的提问。的确
I'll invite Mr.
科
Mu to
教
answer
兴国
this
战略
question.
人才强国战略
Thank you for your question.
都是党中央提出的
The strategy
要
for
长期坚持的
invigorating China through science and education, the workforce development strategy, and the innovation-driven development strategy are all major national strategies put forward by the CPC Central Committee that must be held in the long
党
run.
中央从突出
Bearing in mind the historic mission of the party in the new era, the CPC Central Committee
将科技教育
highlighted
放在20
the
大报告
centrality
第5部分
of innovation in China's modernization drive and used Part 5 to focus on discussing science and technology, education, and talent.
这个科技
As you said in the previous party congress reports, science and technology were usually included in the paragraphs of economy, education in social development, and talent in party building.
党的20大报告
The
按照
report this year,
总书记关于系统观念的要求，
in line with
第一次把
the
这3大战略摆放在一起，
concept of system
是一个
put
创
forward
新
by General Secretary Xi
有其深
Jinping,
意。
for the first time
这一新的摆布
puts the three strategies
既坚持
together,
教育、科技、人才
and it is a new endeavor in line with the updated trend.
基础
The new
战
layout
略性的支撑，
outlines that
又强调了
education, science, and
三者之
technology
间
and
的
human resources
有机
are the
联系。
fundamental and
通过
strategic
协同
pillars for
配合
building a modern socialist
系统
country in all
继承
respects. and emphasizes the links between the three strategies, which, through coordination and integration, could lend new impetus to driving development. The three strategies all serve to build China into one of the world's leading innovators. First, give priority to the development of education. We'll fully implement the party's educational policy, carry out the basic task of fostering virtue through education, and nurture a new generation of capable young people with sound moral grounding, intellectual ability, physical vigor, aesthetic sensibility, and work skills who will fully develop socialism and carry forward the socialist cause. We'll move faster to build a high-quality educational system and promote fairness in education and the overall quality of the nationals, the all-round development of the people. Second, uphold innovation-driven development. We'll improve the new system for mobilizing resources nationwide, strengthen the basic research, and spur breakthroughs and original innovation on core technologies in key fields. We'll improve the innovation system and strive for greater technological self-reliance and strength. Third, talent is the primary resource. We'll improve the strategic distribution of human resources, speed up efforts to build a contingent of personnel with expertise of strategic importance, and further reform the systems and mechanisms for talent development so as to cultivate a large workforce of high-quality talent. Thank you. Next question, please.
请东区第4排这位记者提问。
Thank you. NBC. We are hearing China's campaign for common prosperity and against disorganized expansion of capital. But on the other hand, we also witnessing China's roaring economic growth seemingly coming to an end, with reports of high unemployment, especially among the youth, and escalating U.S. trade and technology control measures that could suppress China's growth. So given, based on the printed Congress, what is the principal contradiction here that China should tackle first? Growing the economic pie bigger and faster, or dividing the economic pie more fairly? Of course, both are important, but which one should be prioritized? Thank you.
美国全国广播公司提问：中国一方面提倡共同富裕，反对资本的无序扩张，但同时我们也看到中国经济的高速增长势头似乎有停止的迹象。有报道称，中国失业率，特别是青年失业率高。美国不断升级贸易和技术措施，将进一步阻碍中国的发展。根据各位对20大报告的理解，哪方面将是中国首先需要解决的主要矛盾？是更快地做大经济蛋糕，还是确保经济蛋糕的公平分配？在两者都很重要的前提下，哪一个更应该被优先考虑？谢谢。
这个问题，请江金泉同志回答。
谢谢这位记者先生。
I thank you for this question. This is a very good question. I would say common prosperity is a shared aspiration of all humanity, but it's going to be a difficult process to fully deliver it. As you said, when we need to have a big pie, while at the same time distribute the pie in a fair and sound manner. We believe it is more difficult to achieve common prosperity in a capitalist society because capital goes after profits. And in our socialist society, we focus on the following aspects of common prosperity. First of all, the common prosperity of all our people is an integral part of socialism with Chinese characteristics. It is an important part of modernization in Chinese way, and it is also a long-term goal of the CPC. Socialism with Chinese characteristics, modernization with Chinese characteristics, both of them have the intrinsic part of delivering common prosperity for our people. Our party, in its efforts to lead the people to develop the country, the purpose is to let our people lead a better life. The report has fully expounded on this aspect. And my second point is how we are to achieve common prosperity. We've been exploring the past. After the reform and opening up, we encouraged certain areas and certain social groups to become rich first, with the purpose of helping the others to catch up and ultimately realize common prosperity. During the past decade, since we entered the new era, we have put more focus on poverty eradication, and we have lifted all our people out of abject poverty. So these, I believe, are concrete progress of moving toward common prosperity. And through poverty eradication, we have already laid a good basis for common prosperity across the country. My third point, common prosperity is to be delivered when we can properly handle the relationship between making the cake and dividing the cake. You first need to have the cake to divide it. We need to make a good and big cake if we are to divide the cake in a sound and fair manner. It means we will continue to focus on economic development. Development is the paramount task of the party. We will pursue high-quality development, and through joint efforts of all our people, we are going to have a big cake. At the same time, we shall protect and improve people's livelihoods in the process of development. We will keep distribution according to work as the mainstay, with multiple forms of distribution coexisting alongside it, and we will build an institutional framework under which primary, secondary, and tertiary distribution are well coordinated and mutually complementing. We will also raise the share of personal income in the distribution of national income and give more weight to work remuneration in primary distribution. We will improve the policy system for distribution based on factors of production, keep income distribution and means of wealth accumulation well regulated. So through all these methods, we shall prevent polarization of social wealth. My fourth point, common prosperity is going to be a long historical process. We must not rush, nor shall we stand still. We need to focus on national realities, follow the laws of development of the economy and society, further liberate and develop social productivity, continue to accumulate social wealth, and steadily improve people's livelihoods. We must not stand still, means we shall take effective measures, put in place enabling conditions, improve the system, and gradually narrow the wealth gap. So, in the process of development, the distribution issues shall also be properly handled, so that our people will truly and effectively feel the benefit of common prosperity. My fifth point, as you also somehow mentioned in your questions, we feel it is important to keep overall economic performance stable and maintain the sound momentum of growth. We need to continue to do a good job in combating COVID pandemic while stabilizing economy and ensuring security. We shall stabilize economic performance on 6 fronts and protect people's livelihoods, address outstanding issues, and effectively diffuse risks of all kinds. I think it's fair to say that Chinese economy has done pretty well, actually, since the beginning of the COVID pandemic. And the COVID has affected all economies in the world. Against such backdrop, our growth rate has lowered somewhat against previous years, but the overall positive fundamentals remain. We will continue to prioritize employment, expand real economy, actively support SMEs, do our level best to create more jobs and opportunities for startups. We will particularly well handle the job creation for college graduates and encourage all our people to create a happy life through their hard work. This is my answer. Thank you.
请西区2排这位男记者。
谢谢主持人。法制日报全媒体记者提问。
Legal Affairs Daily, at the report to the Party Congress, improving community-level governance has been mentioned for a couple of times. What will be done to improve and further update community-level governance?
谢谢法制日报记者的提问。
I thank you for this question. General Secretary Xi Jinping has stressed that primary governance is important for the governance of the country. Indeed, the community level is at the frontier of social governance. It is fundamental for the governance of the whole country. We will continue to improve and update community-level social governance, and the key is to apply and further develop the Fengqiao model for promoting community-level governance in the new era. We shall diffuse risks at the primary level and when they first emerge as much as we can. To my understanding, to strengthen and innovate community-level governance, we need to redouble our efforts on the following 6 fronts. First, combating crimes is important. It's important to crack down on the various illegal and criminal activities that cause grave public concern. A tough line on such activities shall be maintained, and these activities shall be cracked down whenever they first emerge. And this is an important way for us to ensure the safety and security of people's lives and their property. Second, diffusing risks is important. We need to ensure that we have open and regular channels for learning about people's complaints, to coordinate their interests, to protect their rights and interests. For instance, those small distributions shall be addressed at the village or even county level instead of being taken forward to the upper levels of the government. Third, governance is important. We need to build up the grade-based management mechanism, strengthen governance in key sectors, and timely identify and resolve all types of risks and potential problems. Fourthly, public service is important. We need to ensure our people have equal access to the basic public services, improve government functions, and deliver universal benefits to our people. Fifthly, prevention is important. It is critically crucial for us to set up the right mechanisms to encourage all our people to have high self-esteem, self-confidence, and address difficult issues in a calm and reasonable manner. And sixthly, we need to rely on our people. We shall continue to expand the people-based mechanisms to address risks, and we shall reward those who have the courage to rise to the occasion in maintaining public order. That is my answer. Thank you.
请东区一排这位女记者。
好，谢谢主持人，新华社记者。刚才我们也提及到，
Xinhua News Agency, as you mentioned in the second part of the report, there are 6 important principles to keep to. How we shall understand these 6 important principles? Thank you.
请孙叶礼同志回答。
好，谢谢新华社记者的提问。
I thank you for this question.
第6个必须坚持非常重要。
These 6 abiding principles are indeed very important. They are well represented in the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics. Each and every one of them has profound meaning. For instance, the people-centered approach. This is about an attitude, a position of the party. It represents the character and founding purpose of the party. It is also a thrust in the theoretical innovation of the CPC as a Marxist party. The history is created by the people. People's creative efforts are the constant source of theoretical innovation of the party. So our party's theories are from the people. They are to serve the people. Our party, as a party that focuses on serving the people, certainly will have its theories to be beneficial to the people. General Secretary Xi Jinping has made this quite clear. To sum up, our theories are endorsed by the people, they are for the people, and they are beneficial to the people. The Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics actually fully epitomizes such people-centeredness. Take, for example, self-confidence and global vision. We have confidence in our system, our past, our culture. We uphold cultural awareness and we never blindly copy others. Meanwhile, we have the global vision. We do our best to contribute China's share in addressing the common issues facing the humanity. We have the broad-mindedness to draw upon all the fine fruits of human civilization. These are 2 aspects that are closely interconnected. Without self-confidence, no civilization and no culture can stand on its own. Still less can it effectively draw from the best of other cultures. With mutual learning of civilizations and cultural communication, with openness and inclusiveness, can people and nations enhance self-vigor and better develop themselves. The CPC is keenly aware of this. Another example is the problem orientation. The CPC does not talk the talk, but always walk the walk. We stress the importance of combining knowledge with practice. We apply theories for the purpose of addressing real and concrete issues. And in addressing issues, we enhance our knowledge about the laws of development, enrich our theories, take issues head on, and face up to problems. And in this process, In turn, we forge new thoughts, new thinking, and new methods. And it is in such process that the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era has been formed and developed. 10 years ago, we made big accomplishments, but at the same time faced entrenched problems as well as emerging ones. And those include corruption, structural issues in the economy, degradation in the ecological environment, so on and so forth. And all those were serious issues, making quite many people worry about the future of the party and the country. The Central Party Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, has since led the whole party, the whole military and people across the nation in resolutely and effectively resolving these issues and opening up new chapters in the development of the party and the country. And in this process, the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era was established. Theories must be applicable and workable in realities. And the party always has this principle. This reflects our strong sense of responsibility to the people and to the country. Next question, please. At Phoenix TV, the question is about combating corruption. The report has made it clear that we need to win this entrenched and hard battle against the corruption. How will this be done? How can we make sure that officials will have no desire or audacity or opportunity to engage in corruption? Thank you.
好，这个问题请王建新同志回答。
Mr. Wang, please.
谢谢这位记者的提问啊。
Thank you for your question.
我来回答这个问题。这个全面从严治党啊
Full and rigorous self-governance is
党的自我革命的
a great
大实践。
practice of the party's self-reform in the new era. Fighting corruption is a key part of it.
党的18大后啊，习近平总书
After
记
the 18th CPC National Congress, in his first speech at a plenary session of the CPC Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, that is the second plenary meeting of the 18th CPC Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, General Secretary Xi Jinping was emphatic. He said that dealing a heavy blow to corruption is a demonstration of our party's strength. There is no exception to party discipline and the laws of the land. No matter who may be implicated, investigations must be thorough and with no mercy. Over the past 10 years, as I said earlier, the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core decided that we should not fail the 1.4 billion Chinese people, even if it means offending a few thousand. Committed to this historic mission, we have carried out an unprecedented anti-corruption campaign. Discipline inspection and supervisory organs across the country have filed 4.648 million cases and punished 4.573 million officials, among them 553 were registered at and supervised by the CPC Central Committee. After this tough battle, we have successfully curbed the spread of corruption and secured an overwhelming victory and consolidated our gains. We have ensured that officials do not have the audacity, opportunity, or desire to become corrupt. We have opened a path of anti-corruption with Chinese characteristics. The CPC has been tempered through an extensive and profound revolution, and it has maintained its advanced nature and purity. Over the past 10 years in the new era, our anti-corruption campaign has been a splendid journey, producing great results attracting worldwide attention. But the challenges remain tough. The battle against corruption is an existential one. We must advance, not retreat. We can only win, not lose. Therefore, we need to resolutely implement the plans made at the 20th CPC National Congress, maintain our overwhelming presence in this field, and take simultaneous, coordinated, and comprehensive steps to reduce the audacity, opportunity, and desire of officials to become corrupt, to win the protracted and tough battle against corruption. First of all, we need to improve the responsibility system for the party's leadership over anti-corruption. The party must exercise leadership over the whole link of the three-pronged strategy. We must clearly define the principal responsibilities for full and rigorous self-governance, play the role of political oversight, awareness, education, organization, conduct improvement, discipline, execution, and institutional development in tackling corruption to win the overall battle. Second, we will maintain our zero tolerance to oppose corruption and punish wrongdoing. We will always sound the bugle, come down hard on corruption that involves both political and economic elements, resolutely prevent leading officials from acting for any interest group or power groups, we will crack down on any collusion between officials and business people that undermine the political ecosystem and or economic development. We will not allow the powers invested in us by the party and the people to become tools for a few to make profits. Third, we will improve the institutions to curb the spread of corruption. We will address both the symptoms and root causes, improve the mechanisms for the regulation of power and officials. We will improve the system for assessing officials' performance, focusing on the key powers, including decision-making, policy-making, approval, oversight, and enforcement and administration of law. We will clearly define the scope of responsibilities, strengthen checks over powers. As we handle the violations of law and disciplines, we will also uncover problems, urge correction, deepen reform, and improve the whole system to make our work more efficient and effective. Fourth, we will build an oversight system that is total coverage, authoritative, and highly effective under the leadership of the party. We will deepen the reform of the oversight system of the party and country, take inter-party oversight as the mainstay, generate great synergy between various forms of oversight, remove barriers to their coordination, and ensure total coverage and effective oversight of power. Fifth, and my last point is to find more vehicles and ways for the integrated approach to the three-pronged strategy, to make the three parts more interconnected and integrated, to allow tough punishment, regulation of powers, and awareness education work in concert. We will focus more to allow convictions and ideals to play a leading role, increase officials' party awareness, and nourish a culture of integrity, and strengthen the defense barriers against corruption and moral decline. Thank you.
好，请继续提问。西区100这位女记者。
谢谢《中国日报》提问。
China Daily. The report says that China will improve the systems for exercising full and rigorous self-governance. This is the first time to be mentioned in the party's National Congress. How to understand this point?
这个问题请唐邦玉同志回答。
谢谢这位记者朋友，你说的很对。
Thank you.
党的20大报告提出
You are right in mentioning this point. The report says that we need to improve the systems for exercising full and rigorous self-governance. This is the first time for this to be mentioned in the report of the party's National Congress. This is a major step in strengthening the overall plan of work in party governance and promote coordinated and effective progress. The CPC is the largest Marxist governing party in the world. It has grand goals and historic missions. It has a large team covering a wide geographic area. It faces significant risks and tough challenges. All of this makes it necessary that we work in a holistic, not localized, a systematic, not piecemeal, and a sustained, not ephemeral, and a high standard, not mediocre way to strengthen the party's self-governance. We need a well-conceived, unified, and efficient system for our work that has the right content and all the necessary elements. Only in this way can we build our party better. For a long time, as our party grows bigger and stronger, the system of party development has also been strengthening. Since the 18th CPC National Congress in particular, the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core is more focused on taking a holistic and coordinated approach in party governance. Now we have systematic theoretical guidance, especially Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics. We have a well laid out plan that is to focus on the political development of the party and strengthen awareness, organization, party conduct, and discipline, and to fight corruption. We also have strong institutions in place. We have nearly 4,000 pieces of inter-party regulations and laws, and we also have instruments to carry out our work. We are taking in new members in a planned and orderly way. We are carrying out inter-party awareness campaigns and carrying out training, strengthening inter-party oversight, especially over leading officials, and we're improving assessment of party officials, improving party conduct, and tackling corruption. All of this, we have developed instruments and methods. So we have put in place a relatively mature system for the full and rigorous governance, self-governance of the party. Well, of course, this is a never-ceasing endeavor. To carry out our work in the future, we will focus closely on implementing the strategies laid out at the 20th National Congress and to make better plans and be more effective in implementation. 3 points are of particular importance. First of all, total coverage throughout our whole process. That is to say, we must be comprehensive in our work. We need to expand the breadth and depth of rigorous self-governance so that all areas work in concert and all links are closely interconnected. And we do not have any gaps in our work. And all party members and organizations are under strict supervision. The second point is to produce combined effect from education and institutional oversight. That is to say, we need to maintain rigor in our work to allow various means to work together and in the same direction and produce combined effect to enforce rigorous political discipline through genuine, brave, and constant efforts. The third is to improve standards, quality, and impact. That is to take more concrete steps in governance, address both the symptoms and root causes, take more targeted measures to produce real impacts and promote the high standard party building. Thank you.
由于时间关系最后一个提问。
One last question, please.
请东区5排这位记者。
Thank you. I am Wael Mohammed from Radio Algeria. We have noticed from the report to the 20th CPC National Congress citing that to pursue green development and promote harmony between humanity and nature when planning the development. This is an important strategic issue for China. How to ensure the efficient execution of this strategy? Thank you.
我是阿尔及利亚国家广播电台的记者。我们了解到，这次党代会报告中提出，要站在人与自然和谐共生的高度谋划发展。这对中国来说是一个重大战略问题。怎么确保这一战略得到有效实施？
这个问题，请穆宏同志回答。
Mr. Mu Hong will take this question.
您这个问题提得很好。党的20大报告明确
You have raised a very good question.
站在人与自然和谐共生的高度
Indeed, maintaining harmony between humanity and nature when planning development is one of the defining features of Chinese modernization.
人与自然和谐共生。刚才孙业礼先生已经在
And Mr. Sun has already shed light on this issue, and I will say a few more words on it. In the past decade, the principle of green is gold has led to historic, transformative, and overall changes in ecological and environment protection, and has brought us bluer skies, greener mountains, and clearer waters. This is one of the most direct changes the people has felt over the past decade. The national PM 2.5 average density has dropped by 34.8%. The percentage of days with good air quality was increased to 87.5% in cities at and above the prefecture level. The energy consumption per unit of GDP has dropped 26.4%, and China's 6.6% annual average growth rate was supported by only 3% annual increase in energy consumption. The water consumption per 10,000 yuan of industrial added value has dropped by 55%, and the output rate of major resources has increased by 58%. The outcome of green transition is significant. We have also further improved planning of the territorial space. The national park-based nature reserve system has achieved major progress. Strategies on the development of the Yangtze economic belt and the ecological conservation and high-quality development of the Yellow River have deepened. These concrete results have given the people a stronger sense of fulfillment and a deeper understanding of the principle of green is gold. Ecological conservation concerns the fundamentals of the sustainable development of the Chinese nation. We must advance green, circular, and low-carbon development and pursue a model of sound development featuring improved production, higher living standards, and healthy ecosystems. The report to the party's 20th National Congress has made the following plans. First, accelerating the transition to a model of green development. We must work faster to adjust and improve the industrial structure, the energy mix, and the composition of the transportation sector. We'll implement a comprehensive conservation strategy, encourage green consumption, and promote green and low-carbon ways of production and life. Second, intensifying pollution prevention and control. We'll continue to control pollution in a lawful, targeted, science-based way, and make further efforts to keep our skies blue, waters clear, and lands clean. The living environments in both urban and rural areas will be improved, and more will be done to modernize the environmental governance system. Third, enhancing diversity, stability, and sustainability in our ecosystems. We'll carry out major projects for preserving and restoring key ecosystems and for protecting biodiversity. Fourth, working actively and prudently toward the goals of reaching peak carbon emissions and carbon neutrality. We'll exercise better control over the amount and intensity of energy consumption, particularly of fossil fuels, and transition gradually toward controlling both the amount and intensity of carbon emissions. We'll take an active part in global governance on climate change. The harmony between man and nature is a topic for China as well as for the whole world. We'll focus on managing our own affairs well, and at the same time, we'll look forward to seeing the joint efforts of the international community. Thank you. Thank you all for your participation. That concludes today's press conference. Thank you.
There was a press conference held by the CPC Central Committee on a key report to the 20th CPC National Congress. Now, for more insights, we're joined in the studio by Professor Xia Lu from Renmin University of China. Thank you very much for joining us, Professor. So we know the CPC, the Communist Party of China, is the world's largest political party. So party building is of great importance to this very political organization. According to the officials, there's been some firsts on party building in this report to the 20th CPC National Congress. We know anti-corruption, it's important, but also but only a part of the whole party building system. Tell us more about these firsts.
Well, that's a very important question, and is the key contribution of this report to the party building work. So the first mention, or we can say the term which is first mentioned in the report, is that the system of rigorous governance of the party. So previously, in the past decade, we had, or the Communist Party of China had, the vigorous governance of the party, and it accumulated a lot of experiences, and it also tackled a lot of issues. However, in the future, according to one of the cadres, the press conference, that the main target or the main task of the party building is to institutionalize or make all this experience, make all this practice into the institution, so that the Communist Party of China can have a permanent, sustainable, systematic, integrated this kind of vigorous governance of the party. So to provide more forces and the spirits and the supporting forces for the the Chinese past modernization task. Okay, that would be the
right. What could be some of the approaches in the party building system you just mentioned?
The first of all, of course, is let's say they would cover all the areas, and they would cover all the the party members in all areas, not necessarily the government official or the administrative official, but also the different region, different sectors. For example, the scholars and even the businessmen who are the party members. So all these kind of party members should be covered by the vigorous party governance or governance of the party, and then there should be very strict standard of strictness. That is to say, the strict is for real, as real business. So if you're doing bad, or if you kind of do harm or do the kind of bad thing to the party's the future task, that would be a very severe punishment. And then they would raise some kind of a standard for the future task. So that would be a systematic and comprehensive project for the party governance, vigorous party governance.
Right, so let's talk about Chinese modernization. You briefly mentioned that earlier. A key approach for the CPC to lead the whole nation, realizing the second centenary goal, building China into a modern socialist country. And interestingly, the official at his press conference, of course, talked about very features of Chinese modernization. Interestingly, he also mentioned that what is not Chinese modernization. He mentioned some disadvantages of some other approaches to modernization. He also mentioned this very idea, one-dimensional man, the so-called alienation of human being in an industrialized society that is over-dominated by consumerism. How to understand this?
Actually, that is the common issue. We can say the common issue of the modernization or the industrialization. So other than modernization, we have another concept called the modernity. So you have this process of modernization and you can have a modernized society, but you couldn't avoid the issue of modernity. So Anthony Giddens, one of the most important sociologists in 20th century, he wrote a book about modernity and self-identity. By the way, I translated that book into Chinese version. So in that modernity and self-identity, he argued that when people achieve the steps or the stage of modernity, they might not recognize themselves. They might have an issue in terms of or identifying themselves. They would become lost in this kind of modernization. So that is the consumer or the issue of consumerism of or the industrialization. So for China, well, before China or Chinese people entered the stage of modernization, Chinese people or Chinese government should be cautious about this issue. That would become that is to say, well, for China, the modernization is the target, is the kind of the future task, and also during this process, avoiding this modernity issue is also important, as important as the final modernization. So that is a very kind of a typical philosophical thinking of the Communist Party of China.
Thank you very much, Professor Xia Lu there. And that's it for this special coverage on CGTN. Coming up is Global Watch. We'll bring you more details and analysis into the press conference we just watched. Stay tuned.